Welcome back to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at The Maze Runner, Chapter 16. Now, this chapter starts off pretty slow. Alright, Thomas is just on the farm, he's working, and he's just trying to get information. He starts talking to the leader of the farm. I can't remember his name. Chuck. No, not Chuck. Starts with a T, I think. I don't know. But he starts asking him questions, just simple questions, like, hey, what do these guys do? Or, what do these guys do? And he's just trying to get some information. And as he's talking, he really wants to ask a lot more. But something kind of clicks in his head, where he's like, you know what? Just work, Thomas. You're just going to make yourself crazy. Just do your work. And so Thomas tries to throw all those questions out of his head and just focus on working on the farm. At lunchtime, it might be a little after lunch, because I think he had lunch and he goes in for a snack. So he goes in for a snack and Chuck's sitting there, and so he sits with Chuck, and they look over and, whoa, Newt looks really bad. He's biting his fingernails, he's maybe pulling out his hair. I did that already, so I don't have any. But Newt looks really bad, and Chuck's like, man, what's up with Newt? And Thomas is like, I don't know. What do you think is wrong? And they're talking. And then Newt is like, guys, I can hear you. And they're like, oh. And then Thomas asks for real, well, come on, man, what's going on? Tell us. And then we learn that that Minho and Albie are late, that they should have returned in time for lunch, but now it's 2 hours past lunch. And okay, that's a little bit weird, but it's not the end of the world. But Newt is still really scared and really nervous, and they talk about different things. And Thomas says, like, well, why don't we send out a search party? And Newt's like, that's against the rules. We don't do that. And Thomas tries to ask more questions, but Newt really isn't in the mood for talking, and he's really stressed out. Newt, first he says the girl's getting sick and the girl's saying crazy things, but then he goes and starts being honest and says, no, the real reason is because I'm worried about Albie and Minho. Well, time goes on, and they go back to work. It's dinner time. Fry Pan made an amazing dinner, but no one is enjoying it. They're all just like, they're not really tasting the food, because all of them are really worried about Minho and Albie. Albie definitely, is like one of the leaders, and Minho is one of the leaders of the runners. So this is bad news. Newt isn't even eating. He's standing by the gate waiting for Minho and Albie. And he's just like walking back and forth and super stressed out. So Thomas says, you know what? I can't eat this food. I'm going out there. Chuck follows him, and they go out and hang out with Newt. And Thomas just like, man, why don't you go out there? And Newt gets really, really angry. And he's like, you think I wouldn't? You think I don't care? I will go. And then he says this really important thing. He says, I took an oath, right? A promise that I would not go out into the maze at night. Going out there and sending other people out there is a death sentence, and we don't send people out into the maze. And Thomas is still a little confused, and then Chuck says it. Chuck says, look, if they don't make it back, it's because they're dead. Minho and Albie are too smart to get lost in the maze. If they don't come back, it's because they're dead. And Chuck takes off. Oh man, that is whew, I don't even know how to feel. Newt starts to walk off too, because he's just drained and sad, and he's like, man, they're gone. I guess I'm the leader now. I don't know what Newt is thinking. Thomas is still sitting there, and the doors start to shut. And Thomas is just looking out into the maze. And he he sees something. At first, he thinks it's a griever. But no, it's not a griever. It's actually Albie and Minho. And he's like, Newt! Newt, they're coming! He yells out. And Newt starts coming back to Thomas. And Newt's limping a little bit because he hurt his ankle. But Thomas is sitting there next to the gate. He's just looking. And he sees Minho carrying Albie, dragging him along. And, oh man, this does not look good. But Thomas is looking at him, and Minho yells out, they got him! They got him! And he's pulling Albie, and they're kind of walking, but then Albie kind of falls to the ground, and Minho's just dragging him as the door is closing. And Thomas is just right there on the edge. And then Newt yells something like, Newbie, don't do it! And Thomas just goes out into the maze. He slips through the gate as it closes. And that is where the chapter ends. Oh my goodness. I don't know how you feel right now, but I just want to read the next 3 chapters because that's such a cliffhanger, we call it. I just want to know what happens next. But I'm not going to. Okay, oh man, I really want to, but I'm not going to until next week. But let's look at some vocabulary. The first one is police, which it just means police. The leader of the farm people, he just has an accent, kind of like Newt. So he's just saying police, but he said police, so it kind of has that slight accent to it. Harsh means strong. So I think, when Chuck says something, Newt just looks at him like, if my eyes could kill you, you would die. And Newt just looks at at Chuck really harshly, really strongly or meanly or toughly. And he looks at him so powerfully that Thomas thinks that Chuck would spontaneously catch on fire. That means like just fire comes off of you, or you become on fire. If you imagine someone that had like magic mind power or something, they looked and could start a fire someplace. Like that's a little bit how Minho or Newt looked at Chuck. Like he looked at him so strong that Thomas like, whoa, Chuck's gonna start on fire. Spontaneously combust. Combust is that action where fire starts in the small molecules and pieces. Combustion. Succinct. Succinct is very short and clean and tight. When you're writing, maybe you'll try to write in succinct sentences. You don't want to add too much in your sentence that doesn't affect the story or the paragraph or the sentence. Succinct, clean and clear. And that's how someone says something. Discussion question. Man, I gotta slow down, huh? That summary got me so excited. Okay, discussion question. Do you think they should have sent a search party? Okay, maybe it's lunchtime, right? There's still a lot of time in the day. Could they have sent people to go look for Albie and Minho? Newt says it's against the rules. Do you think that's a good rule or a bad rule? What would you have done? Also, please write your own discussion question. And you have been doing so, and they have been wonderful discussion questions. Keep it up. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, if you have any questions about the video today, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. If you had any other vocabulary words that you wanted to know what they meant, let me know. And also, if you're interested in maybe joining one of these book clubs, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.